Shall we proceed with our assigned duties?
You weren't this aloof 6 years ago. Or don't you remember?
There's nothing wrong with my memory.
Well, there's something wrong with the rest of you. You're not even looking at me.
I'm familiar with your appearance.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Fully Functional, a TNG podcast. I'm Maggie, joined by Jeff and Dory.
Yo.
Jeff and I are huge Star Trek nerds, and Dory is a Star Trek novice, and we are taking her on our first journey through Star Trek The Next Generation. Today we're discussing the Season 2 episode, The Emissary.
Not to be confused with the Season 1 premiere of DS9, Emissary.
Yeah, that's right. And, alright, the original air date is June 24th, 1989, and we are officially past my birthday. I am now an alive human being.
Congratulations on being alive.
We're so happy for you.
Yeah. How far past my birthday? You'll never know.
Oh, okay, that's awkward.
I mean, if you know me, you know. Or maybe you forgot, but that's fine.
Hey, if you know, then you know.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll jump into it and take it over to Dory for the recap.
Okay, so we start off with cards. So it's Geordi, Data, Worf, Riker, and Dr. P. They're playing cards. I assume poker. Doesn't matter. Data's wearing his fun little visor, which I enjoy. And they get like an emergency signal. And they're like, oh shit, we're done playing poker right now. Because like Worf is killing them all. So
As a warrior should.
yes, I think they call him Iceman.
Mm-hmm.
So they speak to this person, Admiral Gromick, who truly, it's like, come on, girl, give us nothing. And she's just like, you're going to have to speak to an emissary and they're going to like tell you shit. Bye. And it's like, cool. Great. Thanks for the help. So then we find out the emissary is coming in like this probe, which basically is like a giant, basically a coffin, a flying space coffin. And they like, what's it called? Not probe her in. What's the...
Beam.
Beam, yes. Tractor beam her in. And then we find out her name is...
Wait, stop. I just need to point this out, but what you just described was actually the first whole 10 minutes of the episode, because damn, they really dragged that out.
Oh, yeah.
So then we meet the person, the emissary, who's in the flying coffin. It is Kalar. She is half Klingon, half human, and has really good eye makeup. So good job there, gang. She also has a nice jumpsuit. Kalar actually sports a lot of great jumpsuits this episode. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Much better than her Starfleet uniforms when she played a Vulcan. This is Susie Plaxton in her second appearance on Star Trek.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Was she the Vulcan in the Wes episode?
In the Gross Old Man episode.
Yeah.
She was the Vulcan doctor.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Welcome back, girl.
Yeah, they liked her so much that they brought her back, and she was really excited to play another weird alien.
Well, she was great in this episode.
Yes.
She was real fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kalar explains basically like there's a Klingon ship that everybody's been in cryo sleep for like 75 years, and so they're set to wake up soon, and they don't know the war between the Federation and Klingons are over. So like they're also very close to like a bunch of outposts. So if they wake up and still think that they're in war, that ship's gonna kill a lot of people. So they need to get there ASAP to like intercept, because like the nearest Klingon ship who's like following will be there a couple days later. So the Enterprise has to just, jump in and be like, hey gang, war's over. Have a good day.
Quit fighting.
So as it turns out, though, Kalar was in a relationship with Worf 6 years ago. So like they speak, they're very intense and just They're a lot.
Very
but, like,
inappropriate in front of everybody.
yeah. So Kalar basically thinks they should just like blow up the ship because they're not gonna, like, the Klingons on that ship are not gonna listen to reason. But Worf's like, I have learned that there's always other options. I'm like, oh, Worf, development, that's cute.
He gets quite a bit of development in this, which is very impressive.
Yeah. So, like, she gets angry, and then, like, she also made a point. She had a conversation with Troy about, like, how they're both half human and, like, half Klingon, half Betazoid and whatever, and how, like, she works really hard to, like, control her anger, and I'm like, no, she doesn't work that hard to control her anger, because this lady snaps at, like, one conversation with Worf, and she punches a glass table. So they're like, okay, maybe you need to, like, do something to calm down. So she decides
the table was
gonna...
asking for it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a glass table in a TV show or movie, you're going to be broken.
That's why you're there.
Yeah. So she's like, okay, she goes to the holodeck and is like, I'm going to play Worf's game. And she goes in and starts, like, fighting
Skeletor.
with all these. Yes, I wrote Skeletor. I'm like, welcome back, Skeletor. Nice to see you, bro. And then she, like, beats the level 1 people, and then Worf shows up, and he's, like, level 2, and then it's like Worf has now joined. He's player 2. And then I guess they, like, defeat all the guys. Worf full out cuts Skeletor in diagonal half.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And then it gets weird fast. So I guess Klingons are really into hand stuff, if you will.
I thought that the men were supposed to read love poetry. What's going on here?
Well,
Worf?
hand sniffing.
Yeah, I wrote in my notes, and, like, Worf has an intimate moment with her hand. And then, like, I don't know, I guess they're just, like, really into it, and, like, she digs her nails into her hand so much she starts to bleed, and I'm like,
well,
sorry,
like,
but,
Worf is
like,
holding her hand closed in order to force her nails in. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, is this foreplay for them? Because
Yes.
this is not cute. This is unfortunate. Like, that's too much blood.
Wow, don't kink shame.
Sorry, blood is not. No, not a fan. Oh, so I guess it's like I guess it's kind of implied that they fuck in the holodeck.
Yep, in the holodeck.
I hope they can sanitize that after.
They do address that in Lower Decks.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good. That somebody's thinking of it.
Which is a parody cartoon, so, well...
Well, no, it's official canon. It is...
That's
like,
true.
Official Star Trek. But it is like a comedy cartoon, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Then he, like, yells out some phrase, and he's like, we're mated. And Killer's like, hard pass. This was just, like, for fun. For, like, you know, for some lols, and this means nothing.
Yo, I just wanted some dick.
Yeah.
So then...
Two of them.
I wrote in my notes, Worf is so dramatic with his head movements. But I wonder if that might be a Klingon thing, because I noticed that Kalar does it too. It's just, like, very sudden, like, head movements.
Michael Dorn is actually responsible for a lot of how Klingons act, because the way that he carried it is kind of how everyone else carried it afterwards, as he set the standard for it.
Yeah.
Well, I love it. I do love the drama.
What I think it might be is because of the prosthetic, you don't have use of your eyebrows.
Yes.
So you have to overcompensate with, like, other actions and movements and stuff to convey, like, your emotions and shit.
Oh, okay. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. That's my guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so then after, Worf goes back to meet with Kalar, but he brings Data because, like, he doesn't want to be alone with her. And basically, what it comes down to is there's sort of two options. One is to like, I guess, hack into the other ship's mainframe, if you will, and keep everybody asleep until the other Klingon ship shows up.
Yeah. That's if they can get there before they wake up.
Yeah, and if they're already awake and they try to attack the outpost, the Enterprise could also once again hack in and override their weapons or something. But then, like, I think that like that captain will then like destroy everything still. I don't know. It's a little confusing.
Oh, Klingons basically, rather than be captured, they would kill themselves first.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they finally catch up to the ship, and Data's like, oh yeah, it looks like everyone's asleep. And then immediately they get shot at, and he's like, lol, just kidding, JK.
Whoopsie-doodle.
So, and then like the ship goes into like cloaking mode, and they're like, oh no, we can't find them. And then they find them, and they're like, quick, let's go in front of them. And then they're like, we have a plan. And this plan is just some A+ improv from Worf. He yes ands the whole situation. So basically, Worf is the they make Worf the captain, and he gets to get in his Klingon like regalia, and same with Kalar, and they get to like sit there in the first officer in the captain seat, and Worf is like, hey, listen, war is over, dumbass, and like stop fighting and shit. And that other captain's like, and then Worf's like, we're gonna fire at you. And then he's like, okay, fine, I'm in, fine, we'll calm down. And he's like, great, we're gonna send Kalar in to sort of like figure out shit with you guys until the other ship shows up. And he's like, okay, fine. So then Worf goes down to the room with Kalar because he wants to say goodbye to her personally, and he's like, goodbye, O'Brien, go take a walk. And they have like a really nice moment where they have some sentiments, and she's like, that like the fucking didn't mean nothing.
Yeah.
It didn't mean nothing, Worf, it meant something to me. And he's like, oh, and they're like, maybe they could have gotten married or something, but like, I don't know. And it's very cute. And then Worf goes, Kalar, I will not be complete without you.
Yeah, that was
So
very
cute.
sweet.
And then she leaves to go to the other ship, and they carry on. I hope she comes back. Is it too much to ask that she comes back?
It is very weird to me that they created a character like Worf who is as like overdramatic and like supposed to be as aggressive as possible, and built his whole character around the fact that he's actually a huge romantic, just in like a really extreme way.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense, honestly.
It's a strange choice for a character in the 1980s, I think, and I do like it.
But I feel like it's a very like classical character, like
Yes,
someone who
I
is
agree with
so devoted to honor and that kind of thing. Like he sees he basically romanticizes the Klingon system to begin with.
That's true. Yeah.
So it just seems like someone that dramatic would be like a romantic,
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. But it does seem to me to be like a very like sort of to be fair, I haven't read much like ancient Greek classical literature, but it seems like a character that would be in that type of story.
Oh, yes, for sure.
From my like sort of like general understanding of what that type of deal is. Well,
from my understanding of classical Greek literature, from playing the game Hades,
everyone's hot as fuck. Oh, that game's so good.
Well, I do really like this episode. The B plot is like really worthless.
Yeah.
And I really don't care about it.
Yeah, it definitely is like more about the Worf stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad that they only really use the B plot as like a supporting plot rather than like a separate plot that we should care all that much about, because everything else revolves around Worf and Kalar, and nothing is really focusing on that B plot explicitly. Even when there are moments where it is, it's still more about the relationship between the two of them, which I like.
Yeah. I thought it was a decent device to get her on board and for them to have to spend time together.
I would have liked the device more if I understood it, because why was a Klingon ship floating through Federation space for 75 years?
Yeah, I was going to bring that up, of like, what could their mission possibly be? Like,
like not even just what was the mission, but like nobody noticed this ship hanging around?
I mean, maybe they were on like the edges or some shit, I don't know.
Yeah, that's possible. But I mean, you'd think somebody would have reported it considering it's quote unquote within striking distance of a bunch of colonies that have been there for several decades.
Well, yeah, it's coming into striking distance. It wasn't just sitting there.
Okay.
Wouldn't the Klingons have, like, maybe had, kept track of, like, when their people go on ships and shit? Is there no database?
Well, okay, Klingons are not known for that.
Oh, they don't do paperwork? They're not into admin?
Yeah, they also made the excuse that, like, it might have been, like, a super top secret mission or something.
I would like to point out, though, Dory, that you will find out throughout Star Trek that the Klingon political system is less than stable. So that's not a spoiler. That's just something that you will learn as we go through it, and there'll be quite a bit dedicated to it. But yeah, it'd be real nice if we knew literally anything about that, because it might have made the B-plot slightly more interesting, but instead we just briefly meet some Klingons, and that's it. They're done. We do see, like, the third Admiral uniform change, I think, since the series has started, and we're only 2 seasons in. And yet that uniform that Worf wears with the, like, big regalia around his...
The sash?
Yeah, no, not the sash,
the cape with the pocket on the
yeah,
back?
the cape thing.
Oh,
that
the
we will
Klingon
see,
uniform. Yeah.
That, I think, we'll see until the end of, like, DS9.
Yeah. I like the Klingon uniforms.
Oh yeah, me too. Not just the uniform, but the big brown thing that he was wearing, the cape.
Also, okay, it had a cape in the back and also a giant pocket.
Yeah, it's like, ooh, that's a convenient backpack.
It also had a hood that was pinned up so you couldn't use it. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh yeah,
man.
sorry. Yeah, I meant hood, not cape. I don't know why I said that.
Hood cape, same thing.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to think of, like, okay, what was the plan here? Like, why would you think, like, by the time they woke up, like, you didn't think that the tech would be super outdated? Like, the equivalent would be, like, if something like that, like, if they'd put, like, soldiers to sleep from, like, 1945 to wake up now.
I mean, bullets still kill people.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's like the Winter Soldier. All over again.
Hail Hydra.
Oh god, you're one of them.
Well, we had this conversation in an earlier episode about the Hydra stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did enjoy this episode. I do have one criticism of it, and that's that it really is Susie Plaxton that saves the character of Kalar, because a lot of her dialogue is actually not very good.
Yeah.
It's kind of cringy and predictable in a lot of instances, and there are moments where it really doesn't suit the way that this character is acting. So, like, for instance, when you first meet her, and the very first line that she says when they pull the thing off her face is, "I greet you," and it's like,
Yeah, it's very,
all right, that's
like,
a little strange.
It's very, like, wooden, I'd say. The lines are very, like, I don't know. Her dialogue's also very expository.
Yes,
it's kinda generic.
yes, it is.
Yeah, generic.
It's generic.
Yeah.
But yeah, her performance definitely saves it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I think she gets so much credit for doing this episode. The director actually thinks that she overdid it, and I'm just like, dude, did you read that script? She didn't overdo it. She made it.
Yeah, because to me, with her performance, it came off of, like, okay, she's just, like, very dramatic, and she talks weird on purpose.
Yeah.
To, like,
yeah,
be
exactly.
dramatic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, a couple of the lines that she said quite literally had me rolling my eyes, and I'm just like, okay, it's not her, it's the writing. So, okay, fine. So I'm really glad that they picked somebody with as, like, strong of a performance as her, because otherwise, I don't think this episode would have held up very well.
No, I don't think so. And I thought her and Michael Dorn had really good chemistry.
They definitely did.
I also really liked the conversation with her and Troy. Like, I thought they had good I mean, the conversation and whatever, but I thought they had good chemistry.
They did.
Yeah.
Them talking together was nice.
Yeah. And that's the conversation that was really tell, don't show to me.
Yes.
Like, she just lays out her entire character to Troy. But because of the performances, it, like, I believed it. I was fine with it.
My biggest qualm though is the like she's like, oh yeah, I have to work really hard to like, work on the anger, the Klingon side, and like immediately every 5 seconds she's angry and like Hulk smashes things.
To be
stuff.
fair, she's in kind of an extraordinary circumstance. She has to like work with her ex and stuff, and that's like putting extra pressure on her.
See, in most capacities I would agree, but she seems way more chill about it than Worf is. So like the first time when they like actually talk in that room, he definitely seems a bit more pressed than her initially, and then she gets like angrier. But then like the rest of the episode is her just being angry and like smashing shit.
That could be an example of her keeping it under control. Like maybe she
Oh god, what's her not under control then?
But like at the beginning she's like sorry, one sec. Oh my god, my brain is fried. You guys are so patient with me. I listen back to these episodes and I'm like, do I have fucking brain problems? I can never put a sentence together. Yeah, at the beginning she's more chill and stuff, and she's trying to keep undercover like her feelings and stuff, and Worf is just like giving her nothing, right? He's like not acknowledging her, like being angry at her, like, and she just wants to like talk and stuff, and he's like being very resistant, and I could see that like getting on your nerves like the more that goes on.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
I did like the exchange with Picard and Worf when he's like, I want you to go like speak with her or whatever, or partner up with her, and Picard's like, are there any personal reasons that you don't want the assignment? And then Worf goes, yes. Then Picard goes, any professional reasons? Worf goes, no. Picard just like stares at him, and then Worf goes, I withdraw my request, Captain. Picard goes, good.
I think that scene is kind of annoying because, like, I know that the whole thing is that Picard is trying to push, like, professionalism over personal issues, but, like, Picard is literally being a dick in that moment.
Yeah, I like the scene, and I like that bit of dialogue, how it goes, but I sort of disagree with that approach because, like, I was going to bring up the same thing as you, Jeff. Like, sometimes there are, like, valid personal reasons that you don't want to work with someone, and that, like, you should totally not be forced to.
Yeah, not everyone can be bros with their exes like you, Picard.
Yeah. And it's like, because like they had the perfect excuse too for Picard to be like, I know you don't want to do this, but like, unfortunately we need your intimate knowledge of Klingon culture and the people and stuff to help us with this. So you're just gonna have to like suck it up. But they didn't do that.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Like, there's certain circumstances where it's like, yeah, you have to put your personal feelings aside and just, like, do your job and, like, do the work or whatever. But there are other circumstances where it's, like, perfectly valid for personal reasons to be the reason why you don't work with someone. And it just, like, Picard didn't really ask, like, what those reasons were in order to, like, determine whether these are like valid enough reasons to not, put them together.
I think that while that one scene between the two of them was like weird and awkward, there was a much better one where Picard said, "I order you to relax,"
Yeah.
and Worf's like, "I am relaxed."
I am relaxed.
And it's great because that moment is peak Worf, I think, and. Although we've seen Worf a lot throughout the series, we haven't had a lot of moments that have really focused on him hard. And I think that like short scene there is something that really establishes for his character going forward, because that is 100% the kind of person that Worf is. He is overdramatic about things all the time, and he's really defensive.
Yes. Yeah, defensive is the word of the day for Worf.
Oh, yes.
You know what I would like? I'd like an episode that centers on Worf that is not about Klingon stuff.
Oh, well, good news. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
What? It always has to be Klingon. Like,
Of
there's
course it
more
does.
to Worf than just
Pretty
Klingon.
much. Although,
Okay, let's be perfectly fair. This is Star Trek, in which every single person and every single species is just, you get one thing. That's it.
Oh, right. I forgot. You can't be more
no,
than one thing.
That's right.
There are a couple episodes that aren't quite about Klingon things.
So I'd love for him to have development outside of, like, always dealing with, like, a Klingon character.
Yeah. Although, the episodes that do come up are good.
Yes,
Oh,
very
okay.
true.
Or at
That's
least
good.
I really like them. I think they're good.
Okay. I mean, I always enjoy Worf. I love the drama of him. Really, I love that.
I'm pretty sure that there are actually 2 TNG Worf-focused 2-parter episodes, so you have those to look forward to.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah. There's at least one I know of. Yeah, and I can't remember if the other one I'm thinking of is a 2-parter or not. It's a big enough story that I think it probably is, but
Yeah, that's fair. But
we're
yeah,
getting into spoiler territory there.
You know what? No, there are some there are a couple of non-Klingon focusing Worf episodes. I can think of one that's actually nearer towards the end of the series. That's a really good one, actually. It's a weird time travel-ish thing, but don't worry about that. We won't spoil anything, and you won't remember that I said that in however long it takes for us to get several seasons further anyway.
To be fair, there's a good chance I won't remember it by the time we're finished this episode.
Dude, who's this Worf guy? Never heard of him.
My short-term memory is remarkably bad.
I wanted to bring something up. Like, I won't say it's little. I think it's like medium. But like after they're done like fucking on the holodeck, they're like in the weirdest positions. Like Worf is like squatting on top of a rock. Like that's just a weird like after sex position to me. And they're fully clothed again.
Yeah, initially I was like, did they fuck or what? Yeah, I honestly kind of unsure initially.
Yeah.
I was like, did they fuck or what? Because they're both basically lounging in different places.
Yeah.
And then he yells.
Like,
so
they didn't even,
okay,
like, tousle
I guess
their
they
hair
did.
or anything. They're both, like, fully clothed again. Getting back in that jumpsuit must have been, like,
honestly,
a job.
Man, lots of credit to Susie for all these jumpsuits they had her in. Because, I mean, that red one, must have been
I love
difficult.
That's my favorite
like,
look.
It was such a good, and the little leather jacket. Like, it looked so good on her.
With, like, the
But my
gold
God.
bracelet things all the way up the arms.
Yeah. Ugh. But, I mean, putting that on.
It's very 80s, but I like that about it.
And then the pink and black jumpsuit from when she goes in the holodeck. Like, these are, man, hair, makeup, and wardrobe for this woman must have been an absolute nightmare.
Something I always notice, and it's like, it's a little bit of a bummer, is that with Klingon women, they always give them, like, they always make sure to show off their bodies. Like, a couple Klingon women you'll see later on have, like, boob windows and stuff.
Yes.
And it always comes off to me like they're quote-unquote making up for the fact that they have, like, quote-unquote ugly faces.
So basically, in, I hate to use this term, but in TNG world, Klingon women are butterfaces.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Even though I think
so
she
sad.
looks incredible.
I think she's gorgeous. The eye makeup, her eyelashes looked like the eyeliner was perfect. I thought she was beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Although the eyebrows looked a little rough. Not in terms of not in terms of like making her look ugly and stuff, but like just practically the effect wasn't done very well.
And the color didn't match her hair.
Yeah.
It seemed like way too light.
I think she's naturally a redhead, and that could be why. Because that's not what the hair was, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those aren't her natural eyebrows. Those are like the
Oh,
prosthetics.
yeah. No, I assumed.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a pretty intense look if that's natural.
No, but they might be extensions of her eyebrows. So they might have tried to match
Okay.
the eyebrows rather than the hair.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a bummer if that's what they do to Klingon women, is just trying to make them sexy to make up for like what they think is like ugly.
Yeah, I mean, no one's ever explicitly
face.
no one's ever explicitly said that, but like that's the way it comes off to me. So I could
I agree.
I could be reading too much into it, but like that's just the way it kind of comes off.
Like, I can only think of one female Klingon character that I actually liked, and besides Kellier, but she doesn't count as much because she's only half Klingon. And she doesn't show up until DS9, so womp womp.
Yeah.
I think I agree with you on that, because the other times that we get Klingon women, they'll insert what is kind of affectionately known as Klingon cleavage, spelt with a K.
So
See, the
bad.
joke is that boobs.
Yes.
And it's a thing they do.
Cleavage with a K.
Yeah.
That's so bad.
Yep.
I don't know why I find that so funny. Cleavage with a K.
You're right.
Yeah. It's just so funny. It's so dumb. Why am I laughing this hard at this? Oh my god.
I have a random aside for you guys.
Sure.
So there isn't a lot of backstory on this episode. Like, just they don't have that much to say about it. It seems like it came together pretty predictably. It was just another this is another episode of the week thing, and everything just kind of worked out well for them. But did either of you guys watch like a moderately okay sitcoms when we were younger, just because they were on?
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
one of them that I would watch a bunch was the Drew Carey Show, which has not aged well.
I know what you're gonna say. Yeah.
Did
I
anyone notice Diedrich Bader as
Yes!
Yes,
the
at
one
the
scene
end.
tactical officer?
At
Yeah,
Worf's spot. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
right.
I was like, oh, I wrote it down in my notes. I was like, is that Dietrich Bader?
he must have been
Worf's
very
spot?
happy about that.
Yeah. I did notice that. I wasn't sure if I was gonna bring it up or not, but yeah, I definitely noticed that.
I definitely wanted to. I love going through Star Trek again and noticing people that I've seen in other places, because so many people wanted to be part of Star Trek, and they would actually go out of their way just to get bit parts in it. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing how many of those we're going to see over the course of the series.
Yeah.
And I love spotting them like this.
Yeah. A lot of people who wanted bit parts, and a lot of before they were famous people.
I feel like I should start making a list, because we've seen like a good handful so far of people that are known now.
Oh,
Yeah.
there will definitely be many more.
Mm-hmm.
Before they were stars, they were on Star Trek.
You'll also hear about the ones who were stars, wanted to be on, and an episode was written for them, and they didn't end up being able to do it. And so they ended up having to get someone else instead, which
no.
sucks. But yeah. I don't know why they didn't get any of the people who played villains in Power Rangers to play the monsters in Worf's calisthenics program, because same thing, basically.
Yeah.
Do you want Rita Repulsa to show up in the whole?
No, not like a main villain,
mean,
the
yes.
villain of the week. I mean, I'd be okay with that too.
I mean, I do
Okay.
want Rita Repulsa to show up.
Yes, I would love to see Worf fight her.
Yeah.
The ultimate crossover.
After 10,000 years, I'm free. It's time to conquer Kronos.
Yeah.
Or what's the computer Alpha? Was it Alpha having a conversation with Data?
Oh, I would love to watch that. That would be fantastic.
Yep, there we go. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and Star Trek crossover.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of other things in this episode to bring up, and I realized I'm realizing just how focused of an episode it was.
Yeah, it really is. It's weird because all of its weaknesses end up falling to the wayside because its strengths really overpower it. And that's great that they could put together an episode that ends up being this compelling, probably just because it's a character piece. And it's a character piece with characters who are very dramatic as it is. They stand out a lot as it is. So like it manages to succeed just on the basis of the fact that these are two characters who always stand out and always have a strong presence on screen.
And I thought they did a good job of getting us to care about Kaylar really quickly.
Yes, yes, I agree. Well, it helped that she was charming.
Yeah.
But it also helped that Worf ended up being, like, sassy in the same way, so the two of them could riff off of each other. Like, Worf, you're not even looking at me. I am familiar with your appearance.
I think that's my favorite moment in the episode. Like, that's just my favorite exchange. Where he's just, like, she comes in and is, like, you know, trying to talk to him, and he just, like, very distinctly is not looking at her and, like, turns away and stuff.
It's because he was busy looking at the computer with a sparkly paint job that looked really, really 1980s. Holy shit.
Yeah. It was very interesting that they made a character who's, like, you know, mixed, who's half Klingon, half human, who embraces their humanness more. Because typically, a lot of the mixed characters often lean into their alien side.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like, Deanna, like, would consider herself a betazoid more than a human and stuff like that. Like,
yeah, most of the time that she's talking about what she is, she doesn't bring up the fact that she's half human.
Yeah, it's interesting to see, like, they didn't get a lot of time to deal with it in this episode, but it is interesting to see, like, someone who essentially hates half of themselves, you know?
Yes.
Which I think, like, a lot of, like, mixed race people in real life can relate to. You know, unfortunately, there are a lot of people who, like, you know, hate part of themselves, you know, because of the way, you know, society treats it.
Well, we live in a society.
This isn't even the last time that we'll see something like this in Star Trek, which is great.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is probably one of the better times that it's dealt with.
I thought it gave her a lot of depth. The fact that, like...
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, the fact that, like, she has this internal conflict in herself. You know, and we get to find that out and experience that, like, very quickly. And I mean, I think her performance definitely saved it not feeling forced, because I think if it was someone else, someone who was, like, not as good a performer as she was, it would have come off, like, very, like, forced. It's like, you know, just telegraphing so much. It's like, I have internal conflict.
Yeah, this episode could have gone badly real fast, and I'm really glad that it didn't.
Yeah. It would have been, like, a more... it was a nice thing to give her depth, but, like, I always strive for more. Like, it would have been nice to explore that a bit, like, of her, like, kind of self-hatred. But it's more of this implied thing, because she has, like, such a low opinion of Klingons that she's just like, well, you're just gonna have to destroy the ship. Like, there's no point in talking to them.
I got a hot take. She's actually not very good at her job.
Yeah. Well, she has, like, a lot of internalized Klingon phobia.
Yeah. Is she racist against Klingons while wanting to fuck a Klingon? I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
I guess so.
Dude,
okay.
there's a lot. I mean, dude, there's a lot of white supremacists.
There's a lot of people who do this stuff. Yeah,
there's a lot of white supremacists that have sex with, like, ethnic minorities.
That's true. But the thing is, like, is it a racial thing or is it a culture thing? Which is, I guess, where the lines get kind of blurred.
I mean, they're kind of connected in a way.
Oh no, I agree with that.
Well, I think she definitely doesn't like the Klingon way of things. I think she definitely does not like the culture. And
that's
she
true.
looks down on the race as a result of that.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I think I agree with that.
Yeah. I think she, like... Because I don't think she lives in the Federation. She's, like, she lives in the Klingon Empire, I'm assuming. Or she's part of the Klingon Empire.
No, sure. She was sent from a Federation outpost as per a Starfleet order.
Yeah, but they say she's a Klingon emissary, which means she's like sent there by the Klingon Empire. Isn't that?
Maybe
isn't that how it works?
I don't know. I'm like, you know what? Maybe they're just actually not very clear on it.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're saying that she is an emissary who is a Klingon.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, could go either way.
And isn't an emissary like someone who comes from the place they're being an emissary to? Like if we had a Canadian emissary in, whatever other country, like they're from Canada, right?
Okay, a person sent on a special mission, usually as a diplomatic representative.
Yeah, so she's a diplomatic representative of the Klingon Empire, which means she's part of the Klingon Empire.
Party.
Right? Anyway.
I mean that makes sense. I just think that they're bad at...
Yeah, they don't explain it very well. Either way,
yeah.
Okay, she doesn't like the culture of things in the Empire, clearly. And I think that because she's also half human and like leans into that side, she's kind of developed a hatred of like Klingons in general, or maybe not necessarily hatred, but deep dislike of Klingons in general. So yeah, I think that's kind of where that developed.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. According to her Star Trek Wiki page, she is a special emissary of the Federation.
Okay.
I have a feeling that isn't cleared up until later.
Yeah. Well, I think in that case we should move on to favorite moments and lines and that sort of thing.
Yes, I agree.
I've got a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll start, I guess, chronological order. So they're playing cards and Worf goes, talk or play, not both. I enjoyed that line. But then, so Data shuffles the deck and then goes Geordi, and then Geordi just touches it, and then Data just distributes the cards. I was like, I don't know what Geordi just touched it. He didn't do anything to the cards. I was like, that's cute, I guess.
Yeah. I think that's like some casino or poker thing. I'm not sure, where you double tap the cards or something. I don't know. He does shuffle it a few more times before he deals, though.
Yeah, I'm not really much of a card player, so like I don't know. I just thought it was funny. He's like Geordi, and then Geordi just touches it, and then next.
Yeah, I think it's some superstitious thing. I don't know. I really don't know.
I also like Worf's Klingons never bluff. I love the Lieutenant, I order you to relax line. That was great. And then Worf said something in which I felt to my core, and I felt very attacked, and I'm taking very personally. Worf goes, I've noted that some people use humor as a shield. They talk much, yet say little. I was like, how dare you, Worf?
Just at me next time.
Yeah, Jesus, just call me out by my name. And like look right into the camera and be like, I'm talking to you, Dory. Like, rude. How dare you? And then the last one I liked was near the end, after Riker and Picard come back onto the bridge. Riker goes, how did you like command? And then Worf goes, comfortable chair.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great. I think I mentioned my favorite exchange is when she's trying to talk to him, like when they're first trying to do their assignment together, and she's like, well, there's something wrong with you. You're not even looking at me. And he goes, I am familiar with your appearance. And I also love their last bit in the transporter room at the end, when they're like finally actually talking with each other. And Worf's just like, I won't be complete without you.
Yeah, and I hold hands again.
Yeah.
Or just like aggressively touch hands in front of their faces. I don't know. They're into hand stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've noticed in Star Trek when they want to create basically like an alien equivalent of like kissing and stuff, because they're trying to make it seem alien or whatever. It usually involves like interesting hand touching.
Hands are the lips of the body.
I would actually like to give a special shout out to the entire poker scene at the beginning. I know that we've had poker scenes before, but I feel like this has been the strongest of them that they've done so far.
Mm-hmm.
And the poker scene becomes kind of a tradition within TNG, something that they bring up at least once a season, I think. And I love the use that they make of it throughout the series, and none of the other Trek series has really had a scene that was like it, that like brought everyone down to a situation where they could do something to really like set up the episode with like a light character moment in something that was not like sitting down and eating.
Mm-hmm.
So I really appreciate how they use it here, especially with Worf's Klingons never bluff line, which ends up being the exact opposite at the very end, because the point is that, I mean, yes, he's bullshitting, but he's really good at it because he's stone-faced. So, yeah, that entire scene I love.
Yeah, because he's bluffing how he feels the whole episode. Yeah.
It all comes together.
Yeah.
Also, the one time that Diedrich Bader didn't make me laugh.
You know, it's funny. I was just thinking that, like, one day, if I ever decide to do a Star Trek Halloween costume, I'm going to dress up as Data, but as the dealer. So I want a little visor.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's I think, like, the one time I would maybe do, like, a Star Trek Halloween costume.
Nice.
Or unless I do, like, a West sweater one day.
We'll have to all do Star Trek Halloween costumes one year then.
Yes.
Oh, my God. That would be so good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
We just all wear the Wesley sweater.
I mean, no,
like
I've
choice
with my hair, with my hair and forehead, I would definitely have to try to be a Klingon.
Yeah.
You just have like a menu basically of the options you can be, and you just have everybody showing up to be like one of 5 people.
Yeah.
5 costumes, and it just gets really weird real fast.
Yeah.
Who are you? I'm Data in this episode. Well, I'm Data in this episode. I'm Data in this episode.
I just show up. I'm Lore. Just
I'm Lore pretending to be Data.
Yeah. Because Data would say, I am Data. Oh, but
Yeah.
I'm Lore.
Ooh. Nice attention to detail.
Yeah, that's right. Someone is paid a moderate amount of attention. But actually, please, let's do like a Star Trek Halloween party or something.
Yes. All right, so let's move on to predictions for the next episode.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay.
So the next episode is called Peak Performance. And in this episode, we see how Riker deals with command.
He's in charge?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Peak performance and Riker. Okay. Is Riker in charge because Picard is doing evaluations of everybody? Oh my God. Okay. Yes. Maybe it's like an annual thing. Picard has to sit down with everybody on the crew, or like, I guess the main people, or like just whoever your supervisors are.
Mm-hmm.
And Picard's going to sit down with each of the bridge crew people and discuss like their performance.
So performance reviews.
Yes, evaluation. So that's why Riker's in charge, because Picard is doing performance reviews, how to get peak performance, if you will. And maybe Riker is tested because he obviously has to. I mean,
Yeah.
Can you imagine just an episode where all it is just Riker's just command, like nothing happens?
Yeah.
And Picard is just like, okay, Data, come in. Data, you've been great. Worf, come on in. You've been great. Like, that's 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe, though, like, Picard... Okay, so maybe Picard has, like... He doesn't know that stuff is going on out there. And maybe they also like don't want to tell him because he needs to have these performance reviews done by a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe he's put it off. So they're like, don't tell him what's going on right now. And just Riker will handle it all. Yes.
Cool.
That's my story.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. So, if you'd like to see if Dory's correct, watch along with us and join us for the next episode of Fully Functional, a TNG podcast.
Goodbye.